Meet Werner Erb, one of Switzerland's most famous Alphorn players. This guy is a national treasure and an all-round Alphorn playing legend. On our trip to Zermatt, Switzerland in July 2023, Travis and I were lucky enough to meet this guy, and not just for any old reason, but for a mini Matterhorn musical adventure. So, our aim was to get to know a little bit about Verner, the Alphorn, and to find out which instrument is officially louder, the bagpipes or the Alphorn. At this point, you might be thinking, okay Ross, this all sounds great, but what is the Alphorn? So, to give you some context, the Alphorn, like the didgeridoo, is one of the original woodwind instruments. It's pretty simple in how it works. Basically, a very long conical wooden tube that you blow into. But there are no finger holes, so you've got to change the notes based on how you blow. The Alphorn was first documented in Switzerland in the 16th century, and its main use was for shepherds and valley residents to communicate in the mountains. Over the centuries, it's come in and out of fashion, but now is very much a symbol of Switzerland. Okay, back to our Alphorn bagpipe adventure. So, our trip started in Geneva, where we hopped on a train heading east, sort of. We zipped along Lac Léman, aka Lake Geneva, and then eventually towards the Alps and up to Zermatt. Honestly, the trains and train journeys in Switzerland are truly beautiful. So we basically had our jaws to the floor for the entire trip. Once we got to Zermatt, we got set up at our hotel, grabbed sundowners with a backdrop of the Matterhorn, and then in the morning, things really kicked off. This morning we're up bright and early, to meet Zermatt's most famous Alphorn player. So we got to the main square of Zermatt, where we met Werner, who was already serenading some tourists. From there, we decided to let the day unfold and left things in the hands of our Alphorn mountain guide. Our first stop was the Gornergrat at about 3,100 meters, which is where we began our musical journey. Now, if you made it this far, stick around because it's about to get way more musical.
Some people have time to do some rock arts.
Does this have a name?
We call them Steinmandli.
Stein is stone? Yeah.
Mandli is a man.
Steinmandli, manstones. In Scotland, it's called a cairn. A cairn, it's just a pile of stones. Yeah.
We go down to Rotenboden.
Yep.
And
that's the next stop.
And then,
yep. So we started planning our route, but before heading off, we tried out some duets for a few of the other visiting hikers. There's a few birthdays in the house, so we're gonna clap on happy birthday. With a birthday tune under our belts, we started to realize that the bagpipes and the wooden Alphorn didn't make for a super tuneful duet, but Werner had a backup in the form of a carbon fiber Alphorn, which he said he'd bring out once we'd done a bit of hiking. One of the great things about hiking around Zermatt is that the landscape is absolutely nuts. For our first spot, we had the most incredible backdrop of the Matterhorn, which is probably the coolest bagpiping clip I've ever got. But it didn't happen without a little bit of drama. Hold on. Oh my gosh. This guy, what an absolute hero. He nearly dropped his Alphorn. That was blown over by the wind, and oh my god. My heart. Our little hiking adventure continued, and Werner shared a little bit about how he got into the Alphorn. How many years have you been playing the Alphorn, Werner?
37.
37 years. And what inspired you to learn them?
The meditation sound, spiritual relationship with nature and sound.
And you first heard it where?
Canada.
In Canada. You first heard it in Canada, really?
A friend of mine had the Alphorn hanging in his living room in Williams Lake, north of Vancouver. And the first time in my life, in '86, I was playing the Alphorn.
It's always super lovely to hear how people get into their passions. pair up the storytelling with a backdrop like this, and oof, what a day. It wasn't all over though, because we had a couple more things to try out. First off, the carbon fiber Alphorn, which still didn't really work out. And lastly, finding out which instrument is louder. I totally thought it would be the bagpipes, but this lady wasn't convinced. Bagpipes or Alphorn?
I think the Alphorn, sorry.
That's right, damn it. I honestly couldn't have asked for a better day. This was hands down the highlight of our trip to Switzerland. And to top it off, our train ride back to Zermatt ended with this. Follow for more travel stories and kilted adventures.
When you're on a train in Switzerland.